Chang'an, known today as Xi'an, is located in central northwest China. And that place is like a living history book. Xi'an is also called the ancient capital and even the birthplace of Chinese civilization. And that's because it has over 3,000 years of history, and it was also the capital city of 13 imperial dynasties. But beyond the usual attractions like the terracotta warriors or the great city walls, Xi'an boasts, and this is probably because I'm biased because I'm from Xi'an, but I do believe that Xi'an food is some of the, if not the best, and it definitely one of the most unique in China. Okay, like I said, I'm a little biased, but I have noticed that although cuisines like Cantonese and Sichuan has been spread pretty well around the world, Xi'an cuisine has not. And that's maybe because not as many Xi'anese leave the country, so it's always a treat to find great, authentic Xi'an food outside of China. And now I'm in Vancouver, and according to my local friends, there are some fantastic Xi'an food places here. So pig being the key word here, we're gonna go try all these places out, and I'll give you my honest opinion on how they taste. Let's go. My first stop is Xi'an Cuisine at Richmond Public Market. I got some of the local Xi'an favorites. I got the Yang Rou Pao Mo, which is the lamb stew with chunks of bread. Liangpi, which are the cold skin wheat noodles. The Chinese pork burger. Bmbl Noodles, and lamb skewers. This is something you'll find in every market, every night market, every food market, almost every single street in Xi'an. This particular item here, I feel like it's well seasoned, but it's really lean, and that made this pretty tough to chew. Usually lamb skewers, you want to have a good balance of fat and lean meat because this thing is supposed to crumple and melt in your mouth. But this right here, flavor is nice, a little too lean for me. So eat it though. Next up, let's check out the pork burger. When you're eating something like this, an authentic version, outside is supposed to be really crispy and the inside is soft and tender. The pork is supposed to have a lot of fat content and it's supposed to be diced up really, really well. Now this right away, it's really soft on the outside, it's not crunchy on the outside at all. And the pork itself is cut up into large chunks and I don't see a lot of fat content in here. Let's try this out. I feel like the dough of this burger is really thick, and there's not a great ratio of meat to dough. There's just too much dough. Also the meat. All right, so meat is really good. Nice and succulent, extremely flavorful. But I feel like it needs to be more fatty in this bun dough thing. This is, I don't know, this is just not really that good for me. Now in Xi'an, whenever we eat one of these burger sandwich things, we have to complement it with the liangpi, which means cold skin. They're basically cold wheat noodles. Noodles themselves are really solid. Super nice, bouncy texture. Also, I feel like the seasoning for these cold noodles are really on point because often it's a fine balance. You don't want this to be overly salty. You don't want it to be overly vinegary. And this is perfect right here. So what I'm gonna do is dip some of this dough inside this noodle sauce. This is something we always do in China. Let's try this. Sorry, that dough is just way too thick. My favorite part of the liangpi are these little pieces of gluten right here because they soak up all that juice like a sponge. It's basically an edible sponge that's delicious that apparently a lot of people are allergic to, although I don't think any of those people are Chinese. The lamb stew with bits of dough is probably the most popular, iconic dish in Xi'an. And real, authentic Xi'an restaurants, what they make you do is that they give you a whole piece of bread and they make you break this apart on your own. And what you're supposed to do is break them up into pieces that are about half the size of your little fingernail. That way, it's supposed to soak up the soup and be delicious. Let me try some of this dough right here. That's yummy. There's a couple condiments that always goes with this dish. One is pickled garlic, and the other is garlicky hot sauce. Unfortunately, they only had hot oil here, so I'm gonna dump some of that on. This is really good. I feel like the soup consistency here is pretty thick, and that's how this dish is supposed to be. Try a piece of the lamb. That is all sorts of tender. This dish right here, it's really hearty. And I've actually been letting this dish sit aside for about 10-15 minutes while I was talking. Bread is still nice and chewy. Finally, let's go to the Bmbl Noodles. This is a dish they really recommended. Again, it's got lamb in here. Try the lamb first. Oh, is that lamb delicious. Noodles. This is the best item I had here. This is it. I feel like these noodles do so much better in a non-soup based dish. Just like this, it's a little saucy. It's almost like stir-fried noodles than anything else. And the flavors they use in this dish, oh my goodness. Look at that sauce and spice covering every inch of that delicious noodle. Savory, spicy, vinegary, peppery. It's like a rainbow of deliciousness. I still can't get over how incredibly stringy these noodles are. It's like you could bungee jump with them. So overall, I wouldn't really recommend the lamb skewers with the pork burgers, but I do really like the cold skin and definitely this. All right, I'm gonna finish up and let's go to location number 2. Location number 2, Lao Xi'an, Old Xi'an's food. This seems to be a really popular Xi'an place in Vancouver, and it has 3 locations. A couple of things I noticed about this place. One is that their menu is very extensive, a lot of options here, and most of these items on this menu are very traditional Xi'an food. I mean, this is basically what Xi'an people eat on a daily basis. Oh my god, they even have the traditional soda that we drink in Xi'an, Bmbl Noodle. Man, I've been drinking that since I was a kid. First dish that arrived, of course, is the cold skin liang pi. And there's 3 variations on their menu. One is with sesame sauce, and this is gonna be more spicy and vinegary, so it really just depends on what flavor you like. I asked for a lot of spice, and they definitely obliged. So there's like a little pile of spicy sauce sitting on top. Let's integrate the spice. Look at how this thing just glistens with the sauce covering every inch of it. Cheers. I just splattered myself because these things are so chewy and they're a little bit elastic, so you gotta be careful. And they got a lot of sauce in here. I feel like the seasoning could have been a little more flavorful because right now all I taste is the spicy pepper and not so much of the other flavors of this dish, but the noodles themselves I really like. And it's not just because I ordered extra spicy. I do feel like the other flavors of this is a bit lacking. The rest of my dishes has arrived. The lamb soup with bread, of course, #1 popular dish in Xi'an. And this is also a Xi'an favorite. This is called Qishan Saozi. And saozi refers to the diced up ingredients that sits over a bed of noodles. So usually this dish will come with carrots, potatoes, pork or lamb, and like I said, all that is diced up and sits over a bed of noodles. And I got the pork and lamb burgers. They're like 2 siblings with completely different characteristics, but they're sitting inside like similar buns. Let me try the pork one, and they put a lot of cilantro and green pepper inside, which I appreciate. I love cilantro in these buns. That meat is how pork should be. Yup, that is melt in your mouth deliciousness that will transport you to hog heaven. Literally, the meat just falls apart as soon as it enters your mouth. Only thing I don't like about the sandwich, the bun itself, although it's very tender on the inside, it's not crispy at all on the outside. You really should hear a crunch when you bite into this burger. And that's the only thing really kind of missing here. All right, let me try this lamb sandwich. You can see the hot oil is just soaking into the bread itself. That is really creamy and delicious. But this is definitely the oiliest version of the sandwich I've ever had. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, the oil is very fragrant, it's spicy. Like I said, it's cuminy. A lot of flavor in the sandwich. I like this actually a lot better than a pork sandwich because I love cumin and I love spice. Next, let's hit to our noodles. And look at all the meat that's on here. I love it. I love it when people are very generous with meat. Oh, that is flavored extremely well. The characteristic of Qishan Saozi, of these noodles, is that they're supposed to be vinegary and spicy, and they can come with a variety of noodles. They can come with thin noodles or wide noodles. The non-soup version is supposed to be really saucy, and you want the sauce to just kind of engulf the noodles. So exciting. Wow, this is good. When it comes to Bmbl noodles, and this is just a personal preference because a lot of people are different, I like the noodles really spongy and really chewy. So the one I had in Xi'an Cuisine, that was right up my alley. That was extremely springy, extremely chewy. But what's going on here is that the noodles are a lot thinner, so they're a lot more tender than the ones from Xi'an Cuisine. Again, that's not saying this is bad. This is extremely delicious. The noodles are still very chewy, just a bit softer. And I love wide noodles because they grab onto the sauce so well. And this sauce, this flavor here, it really reminds me of home. And this pork, wonderfully flavors. Absolutely love this. Finally, let's go to our lamb soup. What I really love about this place is they gave you the traditional ingredients. There's the garlicky hot sauce, and here are the pickled garlics. Pour the hot sauce in. This is gonna give it a nice balance. Otherwise, this dish, as flavorful as it is, it becomes a bit one-dimensional and a bit too fatty. And they're definitely not stingy with the meat. Little bites of the bread, rice noodles, wood ear. And like I mentioned, this bread is not supposed to go soggy once it hit the soup. It's gonna have a lot of chew. Wow, I really like this dish here. This soup is delicious. It's a bit lammy, so some of you might not like that, but the hot sauce provides a much needed vinegary, spicy flavor. And I feel like that further accents the deliciousness of the soup. Delicious. And these are big pieces. The slices of lamb itself, I'm not in love with. Because they come in such big pieces and they are so lean, it becomes a bit tough. I did find a piece that's a bit more fatty. And even that, I feel like it's really way too tough. So the best thing about this dish is the soup itself, which is absolutely delicious. I'm actually really excited about this. I have not had this soda since I was in China. Look at this, opening of this tab is like so Chinesey. This is a orange soda. Tastes like nostalgia. My favorite dish at this place is the Xi'an noodles. I mean, that thing is unbelievably good. Also, like I said, the flavor of the lamb soup is absolutely fantastic. If somehow they could make the lamb more tender, that dish will be perfect. Also, this place does not stinge with the meat. You're gonna get a lot of meat in these dishes, and that's always a positive thing in my book. All right, so I'm gonna polish all this off, then we're gonna head to location number 3. Location number 3, Joojak Restaurant. This place, according to the owner, is supposed to feature flavors of southern Xi'an. And if you guys didn't know, different parts of Xi'an actually has its own unique flavors. So I ordered up all my usual favorites and a couple more dishes this place recommends. So let's get our eat on. First dish is here, again, the cold wheat flour noodle. First impression, this is actually strikingly beautiful. I mean, you have the white of the wheat noodles, you have the red of the hot chili oil, the green of the cucumber, the yellow of the sprouts. The reason why cucumbers and sprouts are added to these noodles is that these noodles are soft. They're chewy, but they're soft. So you need to give it a little crunch to expand the flavor profile. I could tell right away as I'm mixing it, the texture already seems really unique. Bon appetit to me. This really does taste like what I had in China. The noodle texture here is extremely smooth and springy. When you have really good cold noodles, they don't feel like they're falling apart. A sure way to tell if the cold wheat noodles you're eating is authentic or not is whether they have the gluten. Oh my God. Oh, that's amazing. This is way crunchier than any gluten I had before. Usually when you eat gluten, it's really soft. It's literally like eating a little sponge. But this, bouncy, crispy, oh, that's delicious. Of course, to complement the liangpi, you cannot be without pork bun, pork burger, whatever you want to call it. This is different than any other the pork bun I've had so far on this trip. Look at that mountain of diced pork inside this bun. It is piled on. Oh my God, this is like the Big Mac of Chinese pork buns. And this is another way you can tell when a bun is quality. You see the circular pattern it has here? That means this bun was not just cooked as like a flat pancake bun. It was cooked with strands of dough just kind of circling each other until it forms this round patty. And yep, top and bottom, very crispy on either side. Here we go. The grease just oozed out of this burger. That's not from oil inside the bun, any added oil. That's from the meat itself. Look at this. That goes to show how incredibly juicy the pork filling is inside. The meat is so tender and succulent. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me get another bite in. You guys hear that subtle crunch? You guys ever heard of love at first sight? Well, this is love at first bite. And keep in mind, you guys saw, I literally just ate before coming here, and I need like 10 of these. I need 10 of these. And you guys, wherever you are, if you're in Vancouver, you're anywhere else, come here and get yourself one of these. And make sure you get one of these as well, because this is a great compliment. Fatty, vinegary, meaty, spicy, soulmates. So let's put this together. Let me take a bite of the cold noodles. What else do you need in life? What is happening in front of my face? It's like when you see a beautiful painting where you're standing there looking at a wonderful sunset in Monterey. This is kind of the same feeling for me looking at this chicken dish. This is not a typical Xi'an dish. They just recommended I try this. This is more of a Sichuan dish. This is kou shui ji. It literally means saliva chicken. But I think it's accurate because as I'm talking and looking at this, my mouth is just watering. I definitely smell all the chili on this chicken. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's good. Okay, I just got hit by 2 rounds of flavor. What you need to do with this dish is take the chicken and then scoop it around on the bottom, let it swim around in the deep end, because what's happening is that all the sauce, the soy sauce, the vinegar, they're sitting on the bottom, and on the top is the delicious hot oil. So dip it like that, put it in your mouth. First thing you're gonna taste, soy sauce, the vinegar, delicious, delicious seasoning on the bottom. Then, when you think all that is over, when you think there's nothing else to this dish, you get smacked in the face by the chili oil. And there's something about their chili here that is so tongue-tingling fantastic. A lot of times when there's chili on the dish, it doesn't really mean it's spicy. Sometimes the chili is just not spicy. I call that fake out chili. But this chili is not only spicy, it's really fragrant. I feel like with this dish, what I wanna do is after I eat all the chicken, I just wanna bottle all this oil and sauce up and use it for my dumplings or my noodles. Oh, this would go so well with noodles. Finally, I can't leave here without trying this. Bmbl noodles with fried chili and garlic on top. I actually have a really good recipe for this. If you want to make it at home, I'll put the link for you guys in my description box. And these noodles, look at this. These are like noodle curtains, and look how incredibly thin and even these noodles are. And you can almost like see through them. Get out of town. There's something special going on with the chili peppers here. This chili pepper, I don't know how they make it, but the quality of this chili pepper is off the charts. Noodles themselves, they aren't the super chewy kind that I prefer, but the kogan or mouth feel of these noodles are really, really nice. And oh my God, those chili peppers. Whatever they're doing with the chili peppers here, they're doing it right. And I just asked them, they do make their own chili oil here, of course. They do bring chili peppers, they said, from Xi'an. Wow. That was awesome. I think of all the Xi'an places I've been to in Vancouver and New York, this is my favorite. This is absolutely my favorite. Of course, guys, this is not a sponsored video. Everything is just my honest opinion, but I really love everything I tried in this restaurant. I think that's it for my Vancouver Xi'an food adventure. I had such a great time filming this video. And again, everything I said in this video is just me being honest and is my own personal opinion. So if you go to one of these places and you really like a dish that I didn't like, or you didn't like a dish that I like, that's okay, we're all different. So the lamb noodles from Xi'an Cuisine, the Xi'an noodles from Old China, and basically everything I had today here. I'm kind of hesitant about publishing this video because this place, they tell me, is about 3 years old and it's not very well known, but the food here, this is quality stuff, guys. So I'm kind of afraid that next time I come back to Vancouver, this place will be blown up and I can't find a place to sit. But that's just me being selfish. So you guys should definitely come and check this place out. All the places I visited, I put them in my description box below. So go check these places out and let me know how you like the food. And until we eat again, I'll see you later.